So many thanks for staying with us. Well, last week Friday, at a ceremony to commemorate the 400th anniversary of slave trade, government launched an initiative dubbed Year of Return. It's aiming to bring Ghanaians and other Africans living in the diaspora back home to help build the country. I have here in the studio Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the President, Akwesi Ewa Abibio. He'll be elaborating on this. Say you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Also joining the conversation via Skype is the Communication Officer for Oman Ghana Bako, an association of Ghanaians living in the diaspora, Emmanuel Kobe. Mr. Kobe, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, and Sabibio here in the studio. So far, I mean, you hear the Year of Return, people think it's a sexy idea, they think it's a nice idea. For those who haven't heard about it, what is it really about?
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here to talk about the Year of Return and other related activities that I believe you'll be coming up with. First and foremost, the Year of Return is a commemoration of 400 years of slavery and resistance of the black community irrespective of the hardships that they've been through, and how despite all that they've been able to do what they've done throughout history. And I think it all started when the steering committee, for which I'm the chairperson of, and the coordinating officer, director is the chief executive of the Ghana Tourism Authority, with other members like my vice is Gedi Lai of Mystic Media, and Professor A.C. Sutherland, and other members like Rabbi Cohen and some other associations. We met together and we decided that we needed to have something to respond to the American initiative, which is the HR 1242, which basically had set out a bill that was going to enable the Americans to celebrate something,
to celebrate something.
The 400 years of the slavery.
Slavery. Okay.
But even before that, it's also important to know that we on our part in this country had the Joseph Project, which was first done by Jacob Echebelamte when he was the Minister for Tourism and Diaspora Affairs. So as far back as even then, we had been thinking about the idea of how Joseph was sold, and the Israelis had to go into slavery for 400 years in Egypt and had to go back, after 400 years to build their country. Okay. So along those lines, the Joseph Project that was initiated, far looking forward, ideas by Jacob Echebelamte, was in respect of this same concept of bringing back people from the diaspora to help build a nation.
So it's good for us to cast our minds back and look at our history, and then fashion a way forward, which is what I believe this is all about. But at the end of the day, it also boils down to relevance. So for the people who live in the diaspora, they're looking to come into the country. Some of them are thinking of investing, starting their own businesses, but some of them also have stories that are not quite palatable. So before I get there, let me just go over to Mr. Kobe, who joins us from the UK, to find out what your expectations are as people who live in the diaspora. If for you to be a part of this program, what will be your expectation, really?
Thank you very much, Madam, for the opportunity. For those of us in the diaspora, what we seek or what we expect from government is that there's been several obstacles or several instances where individuals try to help build the nation, but then they are frustrated by bureaucracies and other uncalled for activities that happens back home. For instance, we had a group who had wanted to donate an ambulance to their community. Unfortunately, it got to the harbor and then they were being asked to pay a duty. And they made it clear to the authorities that, look, this is coming as a charity object. It's a gift. We're giving it to our community. But then they were insistent that if they don't pay the duty, they wouldn't release the car. And truth be told, they did not give them the car, and later on it was auctioned at a very low price. Meanwhile, you come to Ghana, a lot of our health facilities lack ambulances. So if individuals could come together to get this just to support nation building, and then you are being frustrated back home, it serves as an incentive for people to come back home.
So that's just
it isn't
one
only
point.
that.
That's just one point, but I believe you have a lot of other concerns. One of them we've dealt with recently here on the show, but people who have come to invest, and they say that nobody is even willing to go into Made in Ghana. People are not really patronizing Made in Ghana, including state agencies. So let me throw this back to the office of the president to get a response. These are the people you're looking to attract back home. If they're already having such issues, I mean, how do you even attract them?
I think I need to put things in their right context and the right, framework to enable us to have this useful discussion. I think we are bundling two things together. There's the homecoming initiative, which is also being executed by my office, which is the Diaspora Affairs, and then there is also the year of return.
Okay,
the year of return, there's a homecoming, there's a Ghana Diaspora Homecoming Festival conference, which is happening in 3 days' time, on 3rd of July to the 6th of July. It happened 3 years ago on the 2017. And the first time was 2001.
So there's that one, and then there's the year of return.
Let me explain. So
the
year of return doesn't really have its own program as such. It has a series of programs lined up throughout the year, beginning from when we first had that ODJ's program of Tina. This is New Africa. And then when we had the Black History Month, other events have also come to pass. Even the Independence Anniversary was categorized as one of the celebrations of the coming new year.
But the bottom line...
Now, I'm coming. So one of the pillars of this whole event, this series of events, is the homecoming Diaspora Homecoming Summit and Conference. That is what my office is also responsible for. And it is that office that goes through the deliberation of dealing with the issues like what the gentleman has just pointed out. In fact, he is right about talking about something that is of relevance to the Diaspora Affairs Office. Even without the year of return, even without the homecoming, what we have is an office that is dedicated to meet those requirements that people have,
just a second.
And to remove the roadblocks that they have.
Roadblocks.
Yes.
Fair enough. So when we're having this conversation because we're looking at the bottom line.
Exactly.
The bottom line for you is to make this place attractive.
Yes.
Attractive for the Ghanaians abroad, for even those who may have ancestral traces to this country to come in. Yes. So again, it comes back to relevance about these bottlenecks that need to be removed. So I'm just wondering if there's a way that you could address the concern that he has raised. Is there anything ongoing
as far as the
office?
concern that he's raised is concerned, I suppose some people do not know about the existence of the office and what we are capable of, else he wouldn't be going through his trouble.
I think so.
Last year we brought in 200 medical doctors, 25 medical doctors from UK, from Germany and the US. And they had a whole lot of equipment that we had to assist them to clear through the ports, to get all the necessary permits to bring in other medical doctors to go and do all the usual voluntary work that they had planned to do. And at the end of it all, we made sure that the equipment that we had used taxpayers' money to clear freely was given to one of the hospitals. It went to Kumawu General Clinic.
But I'm sure that he's not alone. I'm sure that this concern is not
I'm aware that some
concern.
people are not.
So how do we deal with
anybody
this
who knows about us and would make the contact and would want to deal with us, we are in a position to assist. But let me tell you, there is the issue that some organizations, I'm not saying this very organization, but some organizations are taking advantage of these sort of facilities. Before you know, he tells you he's bringing in 100 computers for this. Before you know, about 80 has been sold. So you got to put in the measures to make sure that these things are going for them exactly what it is meant to be. And we work with the Chief of Staff's office and everyone at the Presidency, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Finance and the Customs, etc. We all work together to facilitate this.
So Mr. Kobe, you've heard the response. The point is that, and of course, just because you say or a group says we are bringing this in to help, doesn't mean that we cannot check. We need to make the checks so that we know that we're dealing with authentic people. If the country should develop, if the country should develop, these are things that we need to do.
It is the reason why My Ghana Baako has been launched in the UK. We're trying to bring all these individuals who have the desire to come back home and help together, so that we have a united voice. We are able to dialogue with government and be sure that we are doing the right, and then the government also is able to assist us, so that what needs to be done is done rightfully.
Now you know that there is an office that you can approach if there are some of these issues, and then they can deal with it. Now, now let's look at the programs that are lined up and how we can make it relevant again to the people of this country. So I'm coming back to you to find out what are the programs lined up, and how can organizations in diaspora like this one be a part of it?
Okay, I think beginning with this 3rd of July event to the 6th of July, which is the Diaspora Homecoming Conference Summit, we are bringing together, we are inviting all the people from the diaspora, as many as possible, who can come. It's a free event. You go to the website, you register, myGhanaDiaspora.com. and you register and you can attend the event. At the end of which, there is the 4th day of the Saturday gala tickets selling for $100 or 500 Ghana cedis to attend to the last day event. Now, the reason why we are having this summit is that we want people to come together to be able to dialogue with government, with other organizations, with among themselves, to see how things like we've just mentioned can be facilitated. But I think the most important thing for this year's conference is the fact that as an input, people are being urged to play a part in shaping the diaspora engagement policy. The country as a whole does not officially have any engagement policy as far as the diaspora is concerned. And now we need to make sure that there is a policy, a document, a guideline, something that will guide any future government, irrespective of
which government
what color.
So that's one of the targets you want to achieve after this summit, to have a diaspora policy that sort of...
now let me explain. The diaspora policy inputs that the participants will be allowed to give would be to shape the document, present it to government for cabinet and subsequently parliament and approval, so that it becomes a binding document where all other government organizations will know the part they have to play in order to realize what potential we have out there.
Okay, I'll take your final word, Mr. Kobe, on what you have just heard. I believe that this is a great opportunity for organizations like yours to get to shape this policy that will regulate in future the way we do things as far as people in the diaspora is concerned. Your final words and how...
Yes, madam, precisely. It is a very good initiative anyway, but then we're only hoping that there wouldn't be that political divide, whereas probably the recent government would go out of office, another one would come, and then there will be a discontinuity. It should be something that transcends party politics. We want a united front, and that is why My Ghana is back here. We're mobilizing all Ghanaians in the diaspora to come together with a united voice, and then also be sure that the problems we encounter when we want to help back home are all emanated, so that there could be a smooth running of individuals who would want to go back home and help.
Very well, Mr. Kobe, thank you very much. And Ghana is looking forward to your participation in our development process. Emmanuel Kobe is the communications officer for Oman Ghana Bako. You have a quick remark before we
Yes, I think I would like to make a comment on what his own fears and how he thinks that could be addressed. I seriously think, speaking, I would like to let it be on record that this diaspora engagement policy was initiated by the last government. They initiated the policy, it never came to the light. It was in the process, and then of course there was a change in government. We came, we looked at the document, I've looked at it, I've said to myself, let us see how we can progress this. That progress means that further consultation, that progress means that we do some more consultations in the diaspora. We were recently in the UK, and then we invited through the Ghana Union Ghanaian organizations and associations to come and dialogue on that issue to see how we could put some points down, brainstorm.
So you say so far it's going well?
Yeah, we've done that, and then we went to Germany as well, because earlier on, what work had been done, had consulted in Canada, in Nigeria, etc., even locally. So this document, as we have progressed it. It's basically something that I could see as leaving a legacy for the country as a whole, and not for any functional,
political party that's in power. Mr. Abebio, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Akwesi Abebio, he's a director of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the President, and I'm sure that you're having a good time as well.
We would like to take this opportunity to invite you all to come in. It's not just for people from the diaspora, but even Ghanaians living here have got the opportunity to come interact with the diaspora, see how we can network and do things together.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, so the website again is myGhanaDiaspora.com. That's how you can get interactive with them, and then you can register for a place on the summit that's coming up.